normally what I would like ask is like generally like things like what you actually do because you currently like a student right now, right? You waiting for to get enrolled into poly or something?
Yeah. So right now I am school starts around in April, right? April 20th. I'm supposed to have orientation
Right.
in poly, but because of the whole DOSCON orange thing, so everything is kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
cancelled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So
shit. Okay, yeah.
yeah, it's very unfortunate. And
Right.
because my part-time job used to be F&B, and then my mother was like, she's very paranoid about this kind of stuff, so she didn't let me
Okay, it makes
work.
sense. It makes
Yeah.
sense.
So
Singapore.
right now I'm just rotting at home.
I see. Cool,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
So right now I'm just rotting at home.
Right.
I'm researching about scholarships in polys to see if I can get one. Yeah.
Definitely. Right,
And
right,
then
right.
I don't know, spare time maybe. I was keeping up with US politics a while ago,
Right.
and then shit happened. Andrew Yang got suspended his campaign, and then now I'm not interested at all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that happened, and then for fun, I guess I do ice skating for fun, a few like 2 times a week maybe, around there.
Mm. Oh, so you kind of like into you're trying to explore like different kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, so I have the
Right.
podcast going on right now, right? But
Right.
I do want to try out like making a film or
Mm.
something. So I'm like writing a few scripts.
Right.
Yeah. I have a friend who's also doing films, but I don't know if he wants to be the co-director instead of the director. So that's kind of like
Mm.
yeah,
I
it's kind of
see. So the thing you kind of like do is like you kind of like into the script, so you kind of like write up a story or something like this.
I guess you can say like I'm interested in anything related to media, some sort.
Oh, cool, cool,
Yeah.
cool. Like
The script writing, video editing, acting,
yeah,
directing, all
right.
those. Yeah, I'm interested in that.
So like you got try video editing, that kind of like stuff.
I guess so. If you consider me compiling 2 years of footage from my upper secondary life and then like making one 20-minute video, that's kind of video editing, right? Is that counted?
Yeah, I think it's counted definitely. Yeah, because
but
I myself also got do some of video editing, and it's like wow, it's not easy. Yeah, I'll say yeah.
but if you talk about like serious stuff like maybe like making a short film, right? Not really like a lot of effort. Because if I ever actually tried that, it's more of one man work
Mm.
instead. So it doesn't meet my own expectation of, oh, actually I want this shot to go like that while I do this, but it's like one man shot, so I really can't control the camera while I'm in the frame.
Right, right. So like probably you can tell me like one of the example that the product that you actually do up like a video or something. Yeah,
Okay, one
yeah.
I would say, okay, one of the proudest one would be that documentary I made for my schoolmates, but I don't think they allowed me to post it on YouTube, so I was kind of like, okay, um
Right.
yeah, but I do like little vlogs on
When
my
you're in
YouTube
secondary
channel.
school.
Oh yeah, in secondary school. I
Right.
I think the final secondary school video. Now when you think about it, it's like my final secondary school video. My final secondary school video was collecting O level results, which surprisingly got like 1.5K views.
Right, right.
Because
Whoa,
I
that's
posted
awesome.
during the result day, right? So like people were on YouTube and then it got recommended them.
Hmm. Cool, cool, cool.
Uh, that wasn't one of my proudest videos, but it was like, okay, I guess
Right,
it works. But
right.
I think one of my most aesthetic video, I might say, is one I filmed with my friend near my neighborhood. It's basically like a music video,
Hmm.
but with music by what do you call that? Joji. By a guy named Joji, which is the
Okay.
the song Dancing in the Dark. And then I just like subtitled the song into it, and then like some frames of fire and like emo-ness.
Right, right, right. Cool, cool, cool. So like basically like all the things that you actually do because like I'm quite interested like your Monday to your Fridays like the things that you are kind of interested in doing right now. You talk about ice skating and all that. And is there anything else that you kind of like do as well? Yeah,
Um, maybe the podcasting, but I'm still trying to like
right.
come up with more interesting topics for the podcast. So
Yeah,
honestly, right now the only thing I can think of is like the Wuhan virus, and then like as a Singaporean, I can talk about it as a Singaporean, and then maybe foreigners will be like, okay, this is interesting,
right,
and then maybe I can get some like extra views or listens from that. But
right.
other than that, I'm focusing more on I think the script that I want to write. Since now I have in contact with some of my poly friends, right?
Yeah,
We might be able to meet up, and then like I might be able to make one film which actually has like certain standards to it.
right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Then right now, if you talk about leisure stuff, ice
Yeah.
skating, and
Cool, cool,
then
cool.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, my favorite Chinese drama is released. So I so
Okay,
yeah. So
right.
I just watch the Chinese drama every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and
You
then
watch through the internet, or from
yeah,
where, yeah? Oh, okay.
they upload on the their official Chinese website. So I was like, okay.
Oh, cool,
So
cool. Okay,
I watched that, and then
right.
I guess Saturday, Sunday this week, just this Saturday, Sunday is the last two episodes of the very famous K drama that's been released in Korea.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
then other than that, Sundays I just wait for manga,
Okay.
manga,
Yeah, I do
manga
watch a bit
updates.
of anime as well. Yeah.
Just wait for the manga updates. Yeah. Especially I think Demon Slayer, because Demon
Right.
Slayer right now the manga is like reaching its final arc, so everyone is kind of like
Right.
very hyped up for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I watch the anime as well, but I don't go until to the extent of like seeing the manga and all that. Yeah, but it's very hype, right? Okay.
The anime is great, right?
Yeah, it's perfect. Do you watch the anime?
Yeah, I finished it. I think it's one of the greatest animated series I've seen so far.
Right. Yeah, because the every single episodes is like very hyped, that
Yeah,
there's
and
like no dragging or whatsoever not. Yeah.
the quality is like legit.
Right.
How
Yeah.
they draw over the characters, I think.
Yeah. I can't really compare between like different animes because I watch like very specific ones that my friends tell me like this one is really great, this one is really great, and then I watch it, and yeah, wow, Demon Slayer is really nice. I actually enjoy it. The storyline and everything. It's so cool. And then I just before the episode comes out, and then I'm just like anticipating like what's gonna happen. Like wow,
Right. Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah. It's like damn cool. The effects and all that, and then the emotions and all that. Wow, it's just like a lot of curiosity being built up, for every single episodes. So yeah, like what is the like main things that you actually like about anime? It seems like you like watch a lot of anime and all that. Yeah.
Oh, I watch a lot of my like TV dramas and films. I
Hmm.
think yeah, honestly, I just watch a lot of TV dramas and films. I also don't know why. But for animes, I like to watch those with uh not predictable,
Right.
and then it's like emotional. So it's not sort of like just an anime which is like wants to make you laugh, and then oh they drag the plot really long, and then you're like, okay, this is kind of funny, but I get bored by that kind of anime.
Right.
But for anime with some sort of emotional underlying to it, then I kind of like that. So like Demon Slayer and like
Right.
No Game No Life.
Okay. Okay. I think I heard of that before. Yeah.
If you talk about movies, then one of those top 10
Right.
anime movies like Your Lie in April. Oh no, that's a series. I'm sorry. Your Lie in April.
Right.
Your Name, Wolf Children, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. All those kind of iconic anime films.
Right. Hmm.
I mean, if you talk
That.
about
Yeah.
anime, I think one of the most unpopular opinion is that
Yeah.
the very famous movie, right, Weathering with You.
Mm-hmm.
I did not enjoy watching Weathering with You at all. So
You kind of like find it like too overrated or something like that.
yeah, I kind of found
Right.
it too overrated. I was like, this is
Yeah. It
really
happens. It
not
happens.
that good. Yeah.
Yeah. It happens. Yeah. So like is there like any like specific things that you are looking out in anime? Because you talk about like storyline, you talk about the emotion part. Which kind of like aspects that you actually like make you like feel very interested into watching it, or is it like other things that you actually watch that you, cause you talk about Chinese drama that you actually watch also. So yeah, like is there any specific reason that you watch all those? Yeah, any aspects like interesting aspects?
Oh, Chinese drama I normally watch because of the ancient, like it's in the maybe like 13th century, and they're all
Wow.
wearing the very flowy skirts, right?
Yeah, those
The
traditional clothes are there.
Yeah, the traditional clothes, and then they all have like weird superpower, and it's kind of cool because they have the emperor and everything, and it's kind of intense. So I watch C drama mainly for that, and also from the way the script is written in that period, it really does help with how you perceive Chinese and like how you can improve your Mandarin through that.
Hmm. Cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool, cool. So you
For
like
any
you are into those like traditional kind of stuff, or
Yeah, I think I'm definitely more into Chinese drama that which is set in those imperial palaces.
right?
Yeah.
You mean you like the costumes, or you like the, when the people acting that kind of stuff? Yeah.
I think the everything about it. I really like those older films kind of vibes. So
Right.
films that are in the imperial palaces in China, those kind.
Right.
Um, and also I think a locally produced one will be Last Madame. I don't know if you heard of it, but I
Right.
think I've never actually been into MediaCorp films until I saw
Yeah.
Last Madame, which is it was on Toggle for free. So I,
Okay.
I watched it, and it's produced locally.
Yeah.
It starred Joanne Pei and Fiona Fasi and a
Hmm.
few less known actresses. But
Hmm.
it's basically I think it was filmed in one of the Peranakan houses in Singapore,
Hmm.
and then it revolves around the story of in the 20th century, right, where there was still, I think, prostitute houses in Singapore,
Yeah. Yeah.
how they had to face against the Japanese and all the British soldiers and
Right.
like the threat against women at that time. And the costume design and the house design and everything else itself was just it was mesmerizing. So it in the sense that even if the plot wasn't good, the
Right. Right.
budget on the costume already made me feel like I wanted to watch the film.
Hmm. That's
Uh,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
adding on to the fact that the main character Joanne Pei really, really acted exceptionally well. So
Hmm. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Cause like when you talk about like all these like traditional kind of stuff, wow, me thinking back like during my past, like because I'm currently this year 23, and when I watch these shows, it's like on the TV, it's like 10 plus years back, and then I remember like me looking back, right, I actually like dreaded, you know like I feel so sad watching all these shows, me looking back, but you telling me like these like different aspects, like you talk about the budgeting wise, I never ever actually like thought about that lah. So like I find it like wow, quite interesting that you actually look into those aspects. Yeah.
I think that's one of the many aspects why I like
Right.
Chinese drama more than locally produced drama, or in reality any foreignly produced drama more
Yeah.
than Singapore drama, because in Singapore drama there is this certain aspect of we just want to pump out films and episodes, and people who want to watch it will watch it, but they don't really think about, oh, quality over quantity, because there's a lot of episodes or TV films in
Right.
Singapore which is the same plot, same idea,
Yeah,
same
yeah,
old
yeah.
jokes used. But the thing is, they that I mean, it makes sense. They want to play safe, because if
Right.
you just suddenly go out, right, and you want to make a film about zombies, which if you talk about Zombie Pura, that was the most tragic thing I've ever seen.
Right.
They want to play safe, because if you suddenly make something that's out of what normally Singaporeans like, right, you're not gonna earn any money.
Mm.
So they want to play safe. But the thing is, if you don't take, a one step forward, we're never gonna get that recognition from overseas. Like, oh, this film, where was it made in? Oh, Singapore. Singapore could make films like this. We've never seen a film like this. You know.
Right. Definitely. Because like you talking about like them playing safe, right? It just reminds me of like I actually watched one of the uh actor Andy Chen, if you know, like he actually talks about like in the past, like the directors and all that, they how to say, they make the film as like a pretty much like the traditional way, the same old methods, like basically the safe way in order for them
Mm-hmm.
to actually make it out there. And it just like, and it's like they don't actually like make the actors and the actresses make them feel good and all that lah. And I heard that like Andy Chen like expressing his feelings and all that, saying that people did not like actually enjoy acting on the show and all that, and it's just very sad. Yeah. So yeah, I get your point when you actually talk about like them making those like safe kind of like
Oh, was that
yeah.
the reason why he left MediaCorp?
Probably, yeah, because I recently just started following him because I saw him like on YouTube. He actually like interviewed like different like YouTubers and all that, and then he's trying to like understand the new way for him to like actually produce his own thing. He's like doing some talk
Oh,
shows.
if I remember,
Yeah.
I think I saw him in the rink in JCube. I think he did a sponsored post for the rink in JCube before with his wife.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. Yeah.
Oh
What?
my God,
Yeah.
his wife is not Singaporean.
Yeah. The wife I think is not Singaporean. Is yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no way. I thought she was Singaporean.
Yeah. I also thought so. Like
Really?
yeah. Yeah. Like last time I also always like watch them act and all that. And then I like recently, and then I went to like research onto them, and then I like whoa, mind blowing, like the things
Oh
that
my
they actually do.
God. Why did she come? I'm sorry, isn't Taiwan okay? I get okay, maybe it's harder to flourish in Taiwan, but I thought
Yeah,
Taiwan
probably.
drama was more
Yeah,
actually
Taiwan drama
no,
is like a lot more better, right? Like
as in more exposure, I guess. Oh man, I don't know. I mean, there are people from China. If you don't know, this is one very special fact I found out when I was researching about 才华横溢. You know the channel 8,
okay,
the
okay.
what is it in English? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I also not that sure. Yeah. Because
um
like I so very long never touch onto TV kind of stuff, you know.
it's the one where they select the talents, right? Star Search, Star Search.
Star Search. Oh, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
the 才华横溢出新秀.
Okay.
Basically, it last year, right, was the one that happened after like 20 years.
Right.
But the one I think that happened in like the 1980s. Hold on, let me search this. The one that happened in 19 something. Look, the one that happened a long time ago.
Right, right, right.
One very famous people from all over the world came. It was a very big thing. It wasn't just like 才华横溢 like last year, but it
Right.
was like there's a Singaporean version, there's a Malaysian version, there's a Shanghai version.
Oh, cool, cool,
It
cool.
was super big. So people from China actually came
Right.
over to Singapore just to join this talent show, and people in China actually watched it.
Wow.
So it was like a big thing in the past, and it was like Singapore in the past I think had one of the one of we had a chance to become like Hong
Right.
Kong of all the like films, but I
Up
don't
to
know.
that standard, right? Up to that
Yeah,
level.
I don't know what happened, but
Yeah.
basically one of a very very famous girl, right, in China. I think she's called Sun Li.
Right.
I don't know if you heard of her, but she's very famous. Not
Right.
and she's also married to one of the most famous guys in China as well, Deng Chao.
Right.
And she actually came to Singapore to join the Star Search.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
and she
cool, cool,
didn't
cool.
win. I think she didn't win. She lost to a Malaysian or something.
Oh,
But when
then.
she went back to China, she got selected to play one of the main characters in a very famous, the Imperial Palace kind of show. And then she yeah, she became famous overnight because of that show.
Wow. Cool, cool, cool. Ah, cool. So like, wow, it's quite like the things that you actually know. Wow, it's actually quite a lot. You know, like I don't even know. You know.
I read Wikipedia for fun sometimes, so
Oh,
it's fine.
cool, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
I read Wikipedia for fun, so.
Right, right. So like like back to the thing that you actually like touch upon, like you actually like watch all this and all that. Uh so like towards like this type of drama, like what other things that you actually like look into? Yeah, cause like I don't know, like is there any other aspects like we didn't touch upon, like that's like very nice about dramas, Chinese dramas.
One
Yeah.
more aspect is the CGI. Ooh.
Right. What's that CGI?
I
I'm very bad at this kind. Yeah.
if you watch some of those Chinese drama, especially the one I'm watching, right?
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of the Chinese drama, I just say some names off the top of my head. Eternal Love, the 三生三世十里桃花, and as well as 香蜜沉沉. This is one of the most famous Chinese drama in China, and the whole storyline, the whole story concept around their entire thing, right, is
Right.
they're like fairies compared to they're immortals compared to the mortals. So all the immortals out there, they have powers. So they
Right.
have to do all those hand signals, to like make the flower bloom,
Right. Right.
control the
Right.
lightning, and like
Ah.
beef with one another, and then they fight with all the swords and stuff.
Mm.
They have all those very cool, when they move their hands, they can create one of those like very cool sparkly thing, and then they attack one another. And
Right.
then the one of the character will fly all the way back because she's hang onto like a bungee rope or something, and then
Right.
pull all the way back. And then when you see the behind the scenes, right, the whole thing is filmed in a room like 40 degrees Celsius hot, and it's covered in green screen,
Right.
and they are dangling on all those ropes, and there's like hundreds of people just to make that scene up and down, and they say, oh, move your hand
Right.
over there. And then once a product comes out,
Yeah.
you can see that the CGI team edited everything in the background, turning the green screen into infinite skies, infinite seas,
Right.
and then you know taking away the ropes so they look like they're actually flying. And there's just a whole concept of the CGI in Chinese drama is just, it's something you're kind of like,
Yeah.
okay,
Shit.
this might actually happen. Like moving
Yeah.
your hands, if you're a god, you move your hands and then you doom doom doom, and then you're killing someone.
Right. Right. Right.
But in even it's just in the
Tons of
whole,
work, right? Like it requires a lot of effort to make
yeah,
it
it
out, right?
requires an effort, and there's so much quality put into producing that which is something I'm always like, oh wow, this is why I need to keep supporting films made in China. Because
Right.
when I support films made in China, the quality of this CGI will improve, and then the costume design would improve as well, because they just keep getting better. If you look at CGI from a few years before,
Right.
it's kind of like wonky and not that good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But in
Yeah.
the recent years, it really, really got better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So is it like there's like more manpower like required?
definitely more
Oh damn.
manpower in China films. And also because China is so big, there is a bigger population from where you can choose the best CGI artists, the best people who can do one of the best effects, and edit out the green screen into the infinite seas and stuff. But in Singapore, it's the population differences. It really does matter. Like, because
Right.
Singapore has such a small population, and within the small population, you have to find that small population which actually likes CGI, and then from that
Right.
CGI, you have to pick someone who is actually good at CGI. But in China, it's like they can just hold an audition about CGI artists, and millions of people will come flooding into Beijing from all across China because they have so many people.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That's wow. That's like a tons of work and all that. And I find that you are really smart, man. Like you're talking about like this type of aspects that I never like really consider and that kind of stuff. And it seems like you're super interested into the behind the scenes, that kind of stuff. So like, whoa, I'm just amazed. And that just brings me to the questions that I like to ask is that um your background, right? It's like you scored like pretty well in O levels. Cause I myself, my O levels, I do like dumpster shit. I come from NA, and then I scored like 18 for my 5 subjects and all that. So like I like to understand from your aspect, like you like working super hard onto O levels and all that. Like how was it for you, your
Um,
experience and all that? Cause like I just like did not really care much. I don't know. I
I'm
just I just not interested in doing it. That like so I want to understand like how is it like for you, your life
uh
and all that.
okay. I don't
Like
want to hurt, like, I don't know.
yeah. Are you super interested in studying,
It
or like do you think it's like in your DNA, that kind of stuff?
I won't say it's in my DNA. It's um I would say I'm an average student. If you
Hmm.
for my school, I'm kind of I'm actually literally average because our average this year was
Right.
score I think was like 10.9 and I got L1 R5 or 10. So
Right.
I'm actually average in my school. But if you say how much effort I actually placed into O levels, I have friends who studied super hard ever since Sec 4 started.
Right.
Um, and then I started 2 months beforehand,
Right.
and I think the only subject I really put effort into is math.
Right.
Because they print out the TYS, right, and then you're supposed to
Yeah.
buy them and do all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
one I actually attempted was TYS. My chemistry TYS is completely untouched.
Okay.
Um,
Right.
I did a few in history. I think a few years, also a few years in SS because our teacher forced us to. But other than that, I never actually touched on a TYS except for math. And in the end, math was one of my worst scored subject. So I just
Right.
accepted fate. Because I know from when I was, I think, 9 years old, I knew my
Right.
math is not the shit for me.
How was it like for you to like actually like kind of realize that this shit is not for you?
Math.
Yeah.
Uh
Like
I think
you kind of feel it, or yeah.
it was right after prelims, and then we're supposed to like buck up again, right? Because your prelims result come back and you're like, shit,
Yeah.
oh my god, I got 20 plus. What am I gonna do? I can't even get into poly. What am I gonna do? And then
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
start like panicking. And then my teacher was like, can I see you after school? My A math teacher,
Yeah.
and he brought up my result, and he was like, do you know if you add up both of your paper 1 and paper 2, how much you get? I was like 29 upon 100. And he was like, okay, you got 29 upon 100 for prelims. The next exam is O levels. What are you gonna do? Are you going to study hard? Have you been studying hard? And I'm like, yeah, sure. But in actual fact, in prelims, because pure geography paper was on the same day as A math,
Right.
and I'm significantly better in geog than A math. So I did not study A math at all.
Right.
And I
Right.
got 29 upon 100. And I was like, yeah, I put in effort.
Yeah.
Sure. And he asked me if I was interested in dropping because with my results so far, if I don't put in any effort, there was no way I could pass in O levels. And I
Right.
told my
Right.
dad, and my dad was like, just drop it. You're not good at math. You knew you were not good at math from the beginning. I don't know why you're even trying.
Right. 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 Right.
Why do you even get tuition in the first place for A math? And I was like, okay, I get it. So that's $500 gone for nothing because I did get tuition in Sec 3
Yeah. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
A math. But
Right.
in the end, even not using A math, it was a good thing I dropped A math actually. It was a fantastic idea.
Right. Yeah.
Because the school distinction rate for A math was I think 90%.
Mm.
100% pass, 90%
So much
distinct.
pressure, right?
And imagine if it was me, I wouldn't have passed. I would have been at 99.9%. That one kid who failed. So it was I was very glad I dropped it.
Right.
If you ask about
Mm.
my humanities is better than science.
Right.
Um I would say I study hard for humanities, but it's not like insane. Like I study 8 hours a day for humanities. It was just memorizing examples, and then when the question comes, I just write it examples. Because the most important thing in O level is writing examples. Once you have
Mm.
examples, the invigilators will definitely give you the marks. So I just kept
Mm.
memorizing examples and then trying to bullshit my way through.
Mm.
Because of this leading to this, therefore this is my stance. And then they like mark according to the charts.
Right. It seems like the score, like everything, like you're actually like very calculative of like how to actually score the points and all that. Like how are you? Did like the school is like? Do you think it's cause like the school system is very good at teaching you guys how to score the points and all that?
Definitely there are there are contributions by the school because
Right.
our school teachers mark really strictly during prelims, and I got a
Mm.
B3 for geog.
Right.
And I was kind of like upset because I was like, B3 for prelims for geog for my best subject. I got a B3.
Yeah.
Um, and then my teacher was like, as long as you got a B3, B4 from us, the teachers, you're gonna get an A for O levels.
Mm.
Because our teachers really do mark strictly, and yeah, I think as a way there is contributions differing from different types of school because from different type of school the teachers teach differently, they mark differently, they have a different level of like this and this.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
when you compare your prelims result, your mid-year results to O levels actual result, there must be a significant difference depending on what school you come from.
Right. Definitely.
But of course if you work hard, right, it
Yeah.
doesn't play a big factor. It's just it can contribute. I have friends who ended up in neighborhood school, but they scored, very well as well.
Right.
They scored 1 digit after minusing all the 4 points. And I
Right.
have
Right. Right.
friends from my school who is kind of considered top middle tier, um, who actually scored double digits even after minusing 4 points. So it does depend on what you do personally.
Definitely. Because like from how I look at it, right, it's like I know that you like you just ended this whole shit, right? Like this
Yeah,
this whole exam kind of thing. And then I want you to like kind of like look back like in the big picture, like what was the main thing that actually, like make
stress me out.
you be so good at, because I can tell that you are being very calculative of like, oh, this subject is like I not so good and these subjects are the ones that I'm good at. And yeah,
Yeah.
how do you do you think it's like something that your parents taught you how to be, so like strategic and towards this whole thing? Because I myself,
Ah.
right, looking back, right, when I was in secondary school, when I do my exams, right, I won't be like looking at, wow, this subject I'm not so good, so I should not take this and all that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like talk to
Uh,
me, like you looking back. I know it's like it just happened. Yeah, but
okay,
probably
if
your perspective from now. Yeah,
you talk about my parents' perspective, right? My mom is Malaysian, so
right.
I tell her,
Say, yeah,
um, I'm having O levels. I have like 9 subjects. I want to drop A math. My mom's like, why would you drop math? Huh?
right,
Why would you drop math? I'm like, but I have E math. Huh? You have two math? She doesn't get the whole concept of O level. So if you ask
right.
my parents' perspective, my
Yeah,
dad and my mom, they don't give a shit. My dad just signs the report paper, and when he sees I got an F9 for A math, and he's like, what's with the math? And then that's all. My dad and my parents never really was like, I want all A's from you, and if you don't give me all A's, you're not going out.
right, right, right.
They were never were like, oh, they were like, oh, you got B4 for chemistry. Do you need tuition? It's like, no, no. I mean, if you want to give me tuition, they're like, do you need? If you need, we give you. If you don't need, we don't care. And it's
Right,
like, okay. So I think my mom was
right.
already she's confident in the fact that because when I was young, when I came to Singapore, when I was studying in Malaysia, right?
Yeah,
When I was in P1, P2, I failed English consecutively.
right.
I failed English. If I stick my report book right now, I'm pretty sure I got 9 upon 100 in P1 for English because I didn't know a single word in English.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
all the
huge
way until
transformation. Yeah. Okay.
until P4, P5, right? I never spoke English at home at all.
Right.
Only until P4, P5, then my English started to like improve because I was reading, I think, some science books in
Yeah.
English and stuff. Um, and then I think ever since young, I knew I was bad at math. I already gradually accepted it. It was like my friends getting A's and I got B and C. I was like, that's fine. I'm not good at math. I'm just gonna accept it.
Yeah.
Um, for science, I really thought I was good at science when I was in lower sec.
Yeah.
I was consistently scoring A1. It's like I'm bloody good at this. So I go up into upper sec. And I'm
Yeah.
scoring A1 for bio. I'm scoring B3 for chem. I'm like, okay, I'm good at bio. And then sec 4 comes. I'm scoring like B4 for both of them. I'm scoring C6. I'm scoring I'm
Yeah.
scoring badly and I'm in science club in my school. So it's kind of like a bad,
Wow.
impression because all my friends are triple science student, double math students
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and they're scoring A1s for science. They're like, this is so easy. Why is this paper so easy? And you're kind of struggling there. But I
Well, that
really,
happens. Like, yeah.
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 But I think I really, it was just kind of a small acceptance to the fact that,
Mm.
you know, I'm good at humanities, I'm good at
Right.
history and SS and geog. Science itself, I know chemistry is my worst science when you compare to bio. So every time I get chemistry back and it's like a C6 and C5, I'm like, well, I'm not going to use it for L1 R5, so I can try, but I'm not going to put in as much as effort into chem as I
Right.
did for geog or bio if it's on the same day. So that's how I kind of like
Cool. Cool. Cool.
do it. But while doing the paper, right, I think one of the most helpful things that I do is when I write the essay, I don't just write. I'm like panicking. I need to finish this. I need to get the content out.
Right.
I think of if I'm the invigilator and I'm seeing these words, right, am I
Right.
gonna give this 3 marks or 4 marks or 5 marks?
Hmm.
So
Right.
it's like source A tells me, should I write encourage? And whenever I encourage, what should my next line be? And if I'm a British invigilator,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what would I want to see? So I was like writing, according to what I think it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow, I never like thought about that as well. Like, like taking into the perspective of like the invigilator and all that. Yeah.
And you can't do that for math. You can't do that for math. Math is just
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, just numbers. Yeah.
Just numbers. If you can't figure it out, you can't figure it out. You can't force yourself to figure the answers out.
Right, right, right. Like I've been into the math kind of thing, like until like wow, and poly still doing all the math shit. To be honest, I hated my poly life. Wow, really, I think it's not my thing and all that. Yeah, but
Do you think you should have won
yeah.
JC?
No, I couldn't. I just 18 points, Yeah, so yeah, like actually no regrets at all because it's all about like the experience. I meet good people and all that, and yeah, I don't know now because you now currently like quite young, right? How old?
17 this
Yeah,
year.
yeah. So like I think our perspective is like very different. Probably like when you're in 23, when you're 17. Back when I was 17, I don't know, man. Like I just in my own shit. I don't know what the hell was I doing. I actually
I
forgot.
mean,
Yeah,
technically it's only 6 years.
yeah. 6 years ago, wow.
6 years is not allowed when you think that you'll
Yeah.
be 66 by the time I'm 60.
I think my perspective was very micro. Like just focusing on my subjects. I think it's quite similar to you but not as serious because I play video games and all that. Yeah, that kind of stuff. But
Uh,
yeah, as I was like listening to you, there's one part that I was like interested in. Like
mhm.
you actually said that you actually studied in P1, P2 at Malaysia and all that. Like yeah, back me up a little bit. Like where do you all started from? Like you know,
I was born in Malaysia.
right?
I moved to Singapore to study in P1. So when I was seven, I was
Yeah, yeah,
starting
yeah,
to study English when I was 7 years old. And I think, oh my God, I got into the A class because 1A, 2A, 3A.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
So
got into
one A
the A
is like the
class,
best class,
the
or
best class, because
okay?
in Malaysia I was like all A plus for my results
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
some reason. And then they were like, you know what, just go into the A class. And I dropped into the B class afterwards. Then I was like, okay,
Right. I
you know
think
what, it's
I
fine.
mean like it's like different, right? The whole system in
The whole
Malaysia and
system is
Singapore.
different.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think up until I was a P4, I spoke spoke Chinese with my friends. I always got full marks for Chinese. So a lot of my friends were like, are you from China? And I was so offended last time. I was just like, no, I'm from
Right.
Malaysia and I'm living in Singapore. But I can't say it in English at that time. So it was like just
Yeah.
me sputting out in Chinese. Um, I think I remember one very vivid fact about not being good at English as when I was, I think, P2 or P3, I was staying back.
Yeah.
And one of the student, right, he didn't really speak Chinese, he spoke English.
Yeah.
And he was throwing my stuff into the trash can. And I yelled
Okay.
at him and I was saying, if you don't stop, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be talking teacher. And he laughed straight in my face. You can't even say English. It's telling the teacher. I was so angry at that. I remember
Yeah,
his
yeah.
name. I remember his face. I was so mad because I
Right.
remember my mind was like, do I say telling or talking? Telling or talking? I was like trying to differentiate. Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Cause yeah, then this is the part where I'm very interested in. You say that like you started like reading books and
Oh
all that,
yeah.
then your English started to improve and all that. Yeah, like what make you? Is it like incidents like this, like people making fun of you that kind of like put you into the position that oh, I gotta stick and the A grade English onto this person's face or
Uh,
whatsoever, like that kind of stuff that makes you angry or yeah, what exactly went down? Like
I won't say that it was like just incidents like this. It was like I didn't care that he was. It was
yeah,
just like I'm annoyed. Like you don't have to bring up my English for that.
yeah, yeah,
At that time, you don't really think about it. It's just like you feel kind of bad at that time. You don't think about he's discriminating me against just because can't speak English.
right,
You don't think about that now because you were like 7 years old, 8 years old. You wouldn't think about that kind of stuff.
yeah,
And it's one of the reasons why it irks me when like they laugh at people who can't speak English. But when I
Right.
was younger, I think I was reading science. I still have it. Um, I was reading science comics in
Yeah.
Chinese.
Right.
So iron
Science comics are
in
like it's like
Chinese.
what? Yeah.
Hold on, ah.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, I have one here that says 生病的地球, and everything is
Right.
in Chinese. So they talk about how global warming and like
Holy shit.
environmental hormones is will like hurt you, but they make it in very cartoonish way. So as a kid,
Mm.
you want to read it and understand. But I read it in Chinese,
Right.
so it was like, wow, I can't believe I could read this when I was younger. I don't. So I read this in Chinese, and then there was a book fair in school about science.
Yeah.
It was a very very old one where it's like a comic as well, but it's in English, and they talk about interesting facts about science. And I read all 12 books,
Wow.
and then I was like, this is interesting. And then
Yeah.
I started reading Dog Diaries. I started reading.
Wait,
uh,
that's when you're like 7 or 8, right?
no, that was nine really, 9, 10. I was
Okay.
reading Dog Diaries and
Yeah.
that very famous mouse guy.
Yeah. I can guarantee you I can't read those words for shit. My Chinese is like rah. Yeah.
How did I now I can't read now. It's I do not
What
understand
the?
how I understood
Okay.
all this.
Oh.
Uh
Yeah.
yeah, I don't understand how I can read all this when I was younger. It's
You sort of like I think you that time you just sort of get the gist of it, read the main words
yeah.
that you can kind of read, right? Yeah.
I just think about this. If I actually continued reading like this much Chinese when I was younger,
Yeah.
I could have done well in like China Gaokao.
What's that? China Gaokao.
China Gaokao is like Singapore A levels, but way way harder because you're competing with millions of people.
Right, right, right. Did you actually did that subject or is it in Sec 4 or something?
Oh no, it's in China. You have to be in China to do it.
Oh, what the?
And it
Okay,
was
okay.
like basically everything is in Chinese. They ask you square meter, area, surface area, all in Chinese.
Right.
And science is in Chinese, so like the elements are all in Chinese.
Oh gosh. I
Yeah.
I don't like that. Okay.
I mean, with the shit I was reading when I was like 9.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. So is it pretty much like your Chinese level is like pretty much the same like back when you're 10 or like 11?
I wouldn't say in China you would. Oh, I'm really into like the Chinese thing nowadays. But in China, you would call my standard of Chinese to be like P6
Oh, you mean like
because in China, right, with
yeah,
my standard of Chinese, they know a lot. In China, when you're P6 13, you're supposed to know words that I don't even know how to read.
right, 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 right.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Cause I don't think cause I saw some of your videos the Chinese that you speak right like holy shit I just can't catch it lah. Yeah, I think my O level Chinese I think it's just like B4. And, I can't read a lot of words. Yeah. So your level I think is already that high. You saying that it's P6 on China, like oh shit.
oh,
Yeah.
China Chinese is insane.
Right,
It's
right.
insane. It's insane. If you Google like
Yeah.
P6 in Chinese, you Google like P6 小学生作文, then you try and read their compo.
Right.
It sounds like it's written by a JC kid in Singapore because it's it's insane.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah. Cause I do have like some of the China classmates and all. Yeah, classmates come from China and all that. Yeah, so didn't really ask them about the standards that it is in China. So yeah, wow, it's wow, it's interesting. I didn't know about that. Yeah, so like probably like fast forward like you like the things that you actually read that leads you to like to having a like a better English. You looking back like what was
uh,
the like a thing, you know?
I know when I was younger, I was reading what's that book called? Singapore Ghost Stories.
Oh, okay.
What is it called?
Oh, I think I know what you mean. The
The
very
True
popular one.
Singapore, yeah, True Singapore Ghost
Right.
Stories.
Everyone carries the book. Like it's like the one of the hype book.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh my gosh. I
right.
stole it from some girl in P5. Because
Okay.
she
Right.
left it under her desk. And I was like, this is a free book. So I started reading that and I was like, this is kind of cool.
Right. Right. Right.
And then I got into that very famous one where it's what is it called? It's something like the ghost story, but it's with a guy called Alvin and he's like a detective.
Okay. Right.
What was it called? Singapore detective story. It was a very famous one. I think it's written by the same guy who also wrote Singapore Ghost Story.
Yeah. Yeah.
My goodness, I can't believe I do not remember it, but it's very famous, and I read like all of the books he wrote.
Right. Right. Right.
And then afterwards, I moved on to I don't know what I moved on to.
That's like the first few books that you actually started reading, right?
Yeah, that's like the first few books I started reading.
Back when you were like one, two.
P4, oh, I wasn't reading English book until like P3, P4.
So like your English like it was like super bad during P1 to P3, right?
Super bad. Yeah, it was I was failing English class and my teacher was like to my parents, she ain't doing too well, you know.
Yeah. 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 So luckily, like during P4, like you somehow found something that you like quite interested in, like the books, like those books. Then you kind of like started reading more, right? Is it?
Yeah, I started reading a lot more. I was reading, the typical dog diaries kind of stuff.
What's that?
Dog diaries.
Dog Diaries. Okay, I don't know
It's
what's
like
that.
a very girly diary kind of book, and I was reading it.
Okay, okay. Like what was the thing like make you interested into reading those though?
I don't know. I was just like, because a lot of them, I started with a lot of comics,
Yeah.
right? It was like, I read a lot of comics first, and then I slowly put myself into my first ever book with no pictures in it,
Mm.
which was the ghost story lah, the ghost story.
Right, right,
And I
right.
was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Oh, it's so scary. Oh, and then I was like, oh, okay, I want to read something that's related to crime and stuff. So
So it's like
yeah.
something like you own self like genuinely very curious about it and then you started reading. It's not like friends that introduced like that, right?
Oh no, it was just like I wanted to read, so I read. Yeah.
Right. Right.
I was obsessed with that stupid book with the mouse guy. Grimmerl? What is his name?
I got no idea. So like what is it in the ghost stories like the things that they actually talk about?
It was
Cause
oh
yeah,
I don't
cause I
really
actually didn't
remember,
read any of it.
but I remember it was super simple. It was like I went downstairs to play basketball,
Yeah.
and then there was a guy there who was in white t-shirt and basketball pants, and like they describe in detail with
Right.
blue glasses and black shoes. I played basketball with him.
Right.
And then I went upstairs. I told him I'll be down soon. And then I came downstairs again and he was gone. Then I went upstairs. I asked my mom, Ma, do you know this guy? And he's like, oh, the guy you described was a kid who died 4 years ago. And then
What?
it was like he died 4 years ago in basketball shorts. It was known that he was murdered by a guy nearby. He died a tragic death. And then it ends with like, I never saw him again, but I always remember him. It's like a very
Right.
cliche, not that scary, not that, but
Yeah.
it was for kids, so it was kind of like it's fine, you know.
Yeah. Because I don't think I actually read any of those, like wow. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty interesting, Like wow, maybe I should have read some of those, then my
Oh,
English
you
could have
can
gotten better.
you can right now, right? What suits are some of more like not that simple-minded one. It's
Yeah.
you can read Little Ironies by Catherine Lin.
Okay.
It's something like that, but
Yeah.
it's a 17 short stories, right? I think I remember one of the story was like it's the ironies. So it will be about this maybe like a rich family and then they're dying and then in the end they tell you they flip the story all around and you're like, oh, the irony in this is that they're rich, but blah
Yeah.
blah 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 blah, and then you're like mind blown by how they put out the story.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
So I think Little Ironies is not bad if you want to try like
Yeah.
the Singaporean vibes.
Mm. I don't think I will be like interested into those, like I don't know, it's just like since from the very start, like me reading books, I like it just
Oh,
disastrous.
okay. Here's the thing. Here's the
Yeah,
thing.
right.
Can you visualize?
Visualize?
Oh my God. Maybe you like figure out something about yourself from this. Okay. Can you
Right.
visualize like okay, I tell you right now. Can
Yeah.
you visualize an apple
Visualize an apple.
in your head? Like think of an apple, like the
Yeah,
most detailed apple.
I don't think I can like visualize like very like detailed objects, but I think when I close my eyes, I can visualize like simple stuff, like very simple, like maybe directions. I don't know how it does it look like, like I don't know how our brain, make us visualize that kind of
Okay,
stuff.
so if I tell you to
Yeah,
visualize yourself
right.
walking onto a bus and scanning your card, can you visualize that?
Yeah, definitely.
Like visualize not the movement, the actual thing that you see
The
when you take
actual
your card.
thing,
Yeah.
I don't think so though. Can you?
Okay,
Can you?
I can.
You
Can you
can?
visual? Okay, wait. Can you visualize like a very emo music video where the girl looks out her window and there's rain pouring down, right?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
She's in the taxi and then there's like the rain pouring down. Visualize that you're the camera that is facing her
Right.
from outside the taxi and
Okay.
she is staring outside
Yeah.
out the window, right? The rain is painting down the windows.
Right.
Can you visualize that?
Yeah,
Like see that in your head.
yeah, I think I can. Yeah.
Okay? So you
Right.
can visualize. So I don't know why you don't like to read books.
Wow. Oh, that's pretty interesting. I don't know.
'Cause-
I think it's cause of like when you see like the books, right? There's
Mhm.
like a lot of words, and then you're like, oh shit, that's like one tons of words like floating around, and then like, wow, I just like, so lazy to do it.
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
you're better with audiobooks then,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Do you think
I've been when was it? I think it was like 2019 January because like, me serving in the army, right? Then like you nothing to do and all that, then you try different stuff. Yeah, then suddenly I just felt like I actually kinda like audiobooks. I just listen to podcasts and all that. Yeah, so
uh
it's been serving me quite well lah so far. You
so
know.
you like audiobooks?
Yeah, I think so. Like
'Cause
I think
I know
I'm too lazy to find out whether I'm good at reading the books or not. But recently, I found out like a way for me to like make it seems like less overwhelming for me to actually read books. Like I use my finger to point at the line one by one. Then I can sort of like read better lah from there. Yeah.
why is there an alarm?
Yes.
Do you just hear that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
It's a
it's
national shit, right?
yeah, it's
Total
the
Defense Day, is it?
what's that
Is it not Total Defense Day?
No, I don't think that is
Today
the.
is.
Yeah, I think maybe. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, today is
Yeah,
Total
it's the
Defense Day.
total defense thing. It's to.
Why do they even put the speakers?
I got no idea. Maybe the community centers and all that. Yeah.
Oh wow, once a
Yeah.
year
Yeah,
party.
I heard the important message signal through island wide. Yeah, the sirens. It's informing us to tune into the local radios and the MediaCorp TV. They have a message there, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah, what a timing.
Okay, this is always fun every year. Well then,
Yeah,
um,
cool.
what was I talking about?
Yeah, I actually forgot. Yeah, I was like saying
Books.
like the
Yeah,
way I read the books yeah, making me like less overwhelming for me just use the,
cause I know a lot of people who like tell me they don't like to read books,
yeah.
but it's because they can't visualize.
Oh, is it?
Cause if you ask me to visualize an apple, right, I can visualize the apple to like,
Is
you
it
know,
like very detailed, like the
yeah,
way you
very
visualize it?
very detailed.
Holy shit.
I can, the apple has like the stem and then like the sparkly part of the
Oh,
stem,
wow. Oh gosh.
and then apples have like different color, like completely red, matte
Hmm.
red, shiny red, or like red with like yellow streaks in it.
Right. I don't think I can do.
So I can visualize like a whole ass movie in my head and like a lot of stuff in my head.
Right,
So
right,
that's why
right.
I like reading books because when I read it, I can like when they describe about the blood when you're
Yeah.
reading like mystery books, right, and like horror, you
Right,
kind of
right.
like visualize in your head and like, okay, whoo, that's interesting. But
Right.
I know a lot of people who don't like reading because they say it's just words. They can't imagine anything. So it's just words for them. So it doesn't
Yeah,
bring any
yeah,
sense.
I think I'm one of those. I think so lah. Yeah.
And it's a
May,
very common problem actually. Not
yeah.
problem. Common disorder. Oh my
Yes.
god, I make it.
Right. No, no harm, no harm. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So like when you read all those books, then your English started getting a lot better. Like after reading all those books. Like which point like do you think is like the point where you started like doing really well for English? Yeah.
Um, Secondary school. Oh no. P6
Oh,
for
P6.
PSLE. Start PSLE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause is it like because of you like reading tons of like books
I
and all
was
that?
reading a tons of books. So in P5, P6, right, I was reading a ton. And so during PSLE, I scored really well for English. And so Sec 1, Sec 2, I kept doing well. And upper Sec was kind of like a bummer for O levels.
Right.
The irony in this is I'm going to mass comm and I want to become a reporter or like a radio DJ.
Oh, cool.
Um, but the thing is, I'm pretty sure the only reason I scored not that well for English was because of my oral.
Yeah.
Just the irony of it.
Was that like during you mean like during your O levels ah?
Yeah, during O level oral.
Oh, what happened though? Like why do you think like you did
Because
not score well?
they were asking about, I think, so oral, right? They will show you a picture and then you have answers 3 questions. They show
Yeah.
me a picture of people leaving and entering the Changi Airport MRT train. And
Okay.
I think, what do you think the people are doing in the blah 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 in the photos? I'm supposed to talk about that.
Yeah.
The second question was something I do not remember. The third question was, some people say that you should stop traveling because it creates pollution. What do you think about this sentence? And
Okay.
I talk about Wanderlust because I was like, what the hell? I talk about Wanderlust. I talk about Kylie Jenner, who is a billionaire and she has her own plane. You know, I think if you travel in the commercial plane, that's fine. But if you travel in a private plane, that's like times 10 the emission of carbon dioxide. I was getting into the science of it. I was like, and it creates a lot of pollution. I was like, okay, don't stray from the topic. Talk about Obama. I talk about Obama. Like, if you're Obama, then maybe you can ride on the private planes. But I think you can't be a celebrity who advocates for climate change, and then end up, sitting on a private plane. And they were like, ha ha ha, ha, okay. You have anything else to add?
Yeah.
I was like, I sat there for like only 10 seconds.
Yeah.
"Hmm? I don't have anything else." And they're like, okay, thank you. And then I left. And the moment I left, I started crying. Because the
Yeah.
moment I left, I was like, I could have talked about Japan,
Yeah.
riding bikes everywhere instead of using cars.
Yeah.
I could have talked about Tesla.
Yeah.
I could have talked about the stupid magnetic non-electric goddamn buses in Norway or some shit.
Yeah.
I
Right.
could have talked about anything. Why did I only talk about planes? And I was like coming out, I was crying. I
Yeah.
cried all the way home. It's like, oh my god, I hate my life.
Right.
The funny part in this, why do I
Yeah.
keep saying iron? Funny part in this is I thought I did really well for higher Chinese oral. I came out of the oral. I was
Mm.
like, this is the best thing I've ever done in my life. Definitely getting a distinction. O level results comes back. I got a merit for my oral for higher Chinese. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so
Right.
I can tell you that how O level marks is really predictable. You either do really well or it's completely like not what you think it is.
Yeah. Do they actually show you your English like oral the
No, they
results?
don't. Which sucks. I really
Right.
want to know if it was my oral which brought me down or like my paper one or paper two.
Yeah.
Because teachers do tell you that if you're oral, right, you don't get a distinction, the chances of you getting an A2 and A1 drops.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the grade like drops. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like wow, the things that I think you actually will probably like do very well cause like like the things that you actually talk about like actually wow that makes you sounds very knowledgeable that kind of stuff talking about carbon dioxide and all that. Yeah.
I was trying to like, pull off the fact that I'm smart, give me my A1 and then like it was too focused on giving out everything. I didn't thought about my next sentence, so the whole thing was kind of like very messy,
Mm-mm.
which like in the end I think dragged my score really, really down. I didn't dare to face my English teacher after I got my results because I was like, shit.
Right, right, right. But
Well,
you did score well, right? In the English.
personally, I thought I could have. Okay, if you talk about the grand scheme of things, yes, I scored well,
Right.
but I could have gotten one more grade higher.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see, I see. It did not kind of like beat your expectation, right?
Yeah, it
Cause
was like I could have failed because of that oral, but I didn't. But if I didn't, I should have gotten a one more higher grade. You know,
oh
that kind of.
yeah, yeah, I do get you. Yes, definitely. So like you like you were talking about like you like interested into doing mass communication, that kind of stuff, and video kind of stuff. Like
Hmm.
what is that the whole thing about? Like what made you like interested going into that field?
Actually,
Yeah.
I wanted to do journalism for a while, and I realized that I cannot even finish writing a book of my own, which
Right.
so I cannot imagine being a journalist and then every day I have to
Wait, you
type.
mean you wrote a book? Like you tried to
I tried to write a book. Yeah, it's only it's been I think 2 years,
yeah.
2.5 years. I've only reached 235 pages, and I'm not even halfway done.
Is it because you're
So
like super lazy to
yeah,
write?
I keep procrastinating. I can't get the words out. So I imagine myself being a journalist, and I'm like, interesting, but I'd rather be a photographer instead.
Right, right, right.
Like journalism photography. So you photograph like important moments to
Yeah.
put on the news. And maybe you can send me to war or some shit. You send me to the Wuhan epicenter to take pictures. That shit I would do. I actually would risk my life for it because I think the impact of photography from that kind of perspective
Yeah.
is a great medium. I don't know. I just like that. So if you put me to that kind of shit, I would do.
Right.
But also because the poly I'm at right now, Ngee Poly, they have
Yeah.
a radio course.
Okay.
If you don't know, Sonia Chu came from Ngee Poly Mass Comm.
Oh.
So
Right.
I mean, if you talk about Fairly, she did actually join one of those radio star search thing,
Mm-mm-mm.
but which I'm not sure will actually happen again in like the 2020 years onwards, because it's. Do you think they'll do that kind of stuff anymore? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Mm.
But they do have a radio station in Ngee, so I wanted to try that.
Right.
But they only accept I think 2 to 3 applicants each year, which
Oh
is a
gosh, what the
bump. Yeah,
yeah.
so out of like 120 students, supposed to choose 2 to 3, which is kind of a bummer if you think about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Other than that, I think I would not mind being a reporter. I
Right.
want to be a reporter for China News Asia.
Oh, really?
It's like on recent news, there are 7 more new coronavirus cases in Singapore, and
Yeah,
then you
I think
right?
you can pull it off. Just that sentence. Yeah,
If I can pull it off, then maybe that instead of the DJ.
right.
Maybe the Chinese one.
Yeah, but then the course that you're studying is like the course that you gotten into is which course though?
English one, the English version, the mass communication.
Oh, is it like a different one as the one that you talk about, like the 2 to 3 applicants one?
Uh, um, Only applicants from the media, like, so film. I think film and media, mass comm,
Yeah.
After Effects. All of them. I think all of them can apply for the radio thing. I'm not that sure yet, but I know they only accept a few applicants each year. So it's
Oh,
like
so it's a different course, right? That thing.
it's like a CCA.
Oh, it's like a CCA.
It's
Okay.
like a CCA. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you can kind of try joining a
Uh,
CCA, right? Or yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll try. They say it's very strict. So you have to go through like, first of all, application and then like 2 to 3 interviews and
Oh
then
shit.
audition,
Okay, sounds like pretty
stress.
hardcore shit. Yeah.
Sounds really hardcore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But the course that you're in right now is like a mass communication English version or something like
Yeah,
this.
English version. So they do have like marketing and graphic design. We also have to do that as well.
Mm. So your course is like what that's like what is the
Mm,
field that you all touch upon?
Media.
Media.
Media. Yeah, we're not business, we're media.
Mm.
Yeah.
So like example, like things like what like you guys do the film or you guys do the video or
We
yeah,
we do films, but that's not what we focus on. I think for
right.
films we do short documentaries.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too sure, but because it's still two different. There's mass comm who does a little bit of film, and then there's film studies which focuses on film.
Right, right, right.
So
Because
ours
yeah,
was like a little bit only, and then theirs is like the big stuff.
yeah. Because like before that, like you still haven't go into the enrollment yet, right? You still haven't started the course yet, right?
I've paid my fees already, but school starts in April lah, so I haven't actually started anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you haven't still gotten into it and like studied the stuff yet, right?
No,
But
not yet.
so like you like from the perspective of like somewhere like you did your research or whatsoever, right, for the course itself. So what are the things that the main things that you kind of like doing like in the course, like what make you wanted to join this course? Yeah.
Definitely the radio aspect.
Oh, so there's like a radio aspect as well over there.
Yeah, I think it's no matter if you're good, if you're gonna get in the radio thing or what, you're still gonna get your hands on. So everyone will get to try the radio thing, but not everyone will be able to get into the radio thing.
Right, right, right. So your main focus is like getting into doing the radio kind of stuff there. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, kind of.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. So like, what actually make you wanted to do the radio stuff though? Like,
I
is
don't
it like
know.
you like speaking or like?
Sonia Chu came to my school a few times. You know, they give the like drug talks and
Oh
they're like
yeah,
super chill.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I like how
Mm,
she can talk in a way that grasps the attention of everyone, and she can bring out a message across in such a I don't know, like a very friendly way.
yeah.
And her voice
Very
is,
humble kind of feeling.
yeah, and I like the way she presents her stuff.
Hmm. As
And
compared to like because like your environment, like I believe like during primary school, secondary school, like the teachers, the behavior like very narrow minded and all that, and probably you see until this person, wow, she's
yeah, it's
very
kind of like,
humble, then she's very
yes,
nice,
yes.
then it's like whole new world. Like a person can be behaving this way, like holy shit,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, you're used to the principals being, okay, guys, today we're gonna have a guest on stage. And then Sonia Chu comes up and is like, hey, I'm Sonia Chu from 987 FM. And then, you know, like, oh my God, this is the different presentation. And you're like, into the whole thing, you know?
Right, I totally get you because you know like 2019 is the year I suddenly like found someone. I don't know actually when it's like 2018, 2017 or what so not. I see until someone who like whoa, give me like a whole new perspective of the world like that. So I can totally like empathize like how you felt then like like how was it like for you though? Like you seeing from the moment she spoke and all that, then how you felt and all that. Yeah.
Huh? What?
Yeah, 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 like how was it like during the that moment that she started talking and all that, like how did you like actually feel
Oh, I was like,
yeah.
I want to become her. I want to
Oh,
stand
okay.
beside her and I want to do this presentation with her
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that would be so much fun. And then she was like asking for volunteers to go up, and I was like, okay, I can't do it.
Oh,
I can't do it
oh,
because
you're too shy to like actually go up
not
first.
too shy, but more like, what if
Yeah,
I stand up
yeah.
and I embarrass myself in front of Sonia and I see her in the future in Mescom?
Oh gosh.
So I'm just like, I'm just gonna stay in my lane for now. If I can see her, then that's fate. If I can't see her, then that's, yeah.
Right, right, right. So it's a 987 DJFM like that. Like is it like a radio kind of thing? Is she still doing that thing? Oh,
No, no, no. She came from that, and
oh, okay.
afterwards she went to Star Search, and then she won the Star Search and became one of the DJ on 987 FM.
Oh, okay, okay. Cool,
Yep,
cool, cool, cool. So you still like kind of like admire her and all that. That's why you started doing the course that you wanted to do,
yep,
the radio kind of thing.
yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
oh, cool, cool, cool.
But I
So
don't know
yeah,
if after I graduate, we'll see how it goes. But I do have a keen interest in heading towards universities in Shanghai or Beijing. So
right. You planning to like study in the overseas area like Shanghai, Beijing, or what?
maybe,
Hmm. That's one
maybe.
of your options that you kind of like
I
consider.
kind of want to go Shanghai 演艺学院, but we're gonna see how life brings, you know.
Right. Like you go into the poly and then you find out things, different kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely to see what the course brings and my social life
Yeah.
together with it.
Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. So, with the final thing that I kind of like want to ask you before we end off like this whole thing, like, you looking forward, like, especially like you wanting to become like a radio kind of a person, like you looking forward, what are the things that you kind of like want to achieve or you want to fulfill, any sort of other things besides the radio or what's or not, and like things that you're interested in. Yeah, like what are the things that you kind of like are looking forward to? Yeah,
I want to let's see. I want to do a podcast
yeah,
episode with some of my friends in poly if I ever make one.
right.
I want to learn ice skating to the point that I can like dance for 3 minutes at least on ice to a
Holy
song
shit.
that I really like.
Right.
And I want to make a short film with
Hmm.
my friends
Cool,
this
cool,
year.
cool.
I want to make one.
Yeah,
God damn it. I want to make one.
yeah,
um I don't think they are starting to recruit the people in the first year for the radio thing.
yeah.
So if they aren't, I'm going to another CCA.
Hmm.
If they are and they don't get in, then yikes. Then I'll just go to another CCA, you know.
Right.
And other than that, I have to consider whether I want to dye my hair blonde now or after I apply for the scholarship.
Oh, okay.
Because
Cool,
when you
cool.
apply for scholarships, you have to go for interviews, right?
Yeah, I
And
guess
then
so. Yeah, yeah,
if you're
yeah.
Chinese and you have blonde hair, I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
Oh,
the
the like the
immediate
first impression, that kind of a stuff,
yeah,
right?
the first impression is,
Yeah,
oh my
yeah,
god, 超啊脸.
yeah, yeah,
That's the first impression. But I really like blonde hair, so I don't know how I can come across
yeah. I
professional. Maybe I go up, the first thing I do is like, 大家好,
yeah.
我是来这里拿奖学金的. Then like I try and be like as yeah, I don't know.
I like your accent. Yeah, wow. Holy shit. You definitely got some like radio kind of a person, kind of like a DNA, that kind of traits. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But towards like you wanting to dye your hair or not, like uh
Should
ah
I? It's a thing, right?
yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah. I mean like it's up to you. Yeah.
Maybe I'll just go for it.
Yeah.
Maybe a light, not like full blonde. Maybe like a light brown,
Oh, yeah. I
right?
think that's more acceptable, right? Right.
Maybe they'll think I'm like half. I'm like mixed, and then they're like, "Are you sure you're qualified for this? Cause this scholarship only for this." And I'm like, "No, I am.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm here for it."
But what is the
Yeah.
scholarship for though? Like the scholarship towards what?
The scholarship is for Teochew. So my father is Teochew, so technically I can apply for it.
Oh, okay, okay, cool.
If I let me see,
Yeah.
this is it's like a big thing. $4,000.
Whoa, holy shit. Okay.
And they have this thing yearly
Yeah.
where they give you, I don't know what is it called. They give you, I think, $10,000.
Yeah.
1 year, one person gets it. It's the big scholarship. They give you $10,000, the money, not like the scholarship.
Right, right, right.
They give you the extra $10,000 for you, and then they give you a bond-free scholarship to pursue undergraduate studies at local or university with or overseas university.
Wow.
So I could, if the gods are in my in my favor, I could, if I get this, I can get a scholarship to a school in Shanghai.
Yeah, that would be really cool though. Like
Oh,
you
cool,
getting
right?
that opportunity and all that.
But of
Yeah.
course, I'm sure there's like thousands of people fighting for this scholarship.
Yeah, yeah. I mean like you never know until you try, yeah. So
It's $10,000 and a bond-free scholarship. So you don't have to come back and work for like the government. It's bond-free,
wow. Yeah.
which is the astounding part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. But like for me, like I don't really like, very interested into like wow. this type of scholarship because like it doesn't apply to me, so sadly, yeah. But yeah, before let's get back into this thing. Before we end off like this podcast, like,
Mm.
is there any like one last thing that you want to kind of like, that is in your mind that you kind of like want to talk about? Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I wish I was born taller. That's all I can say.
Oh, is it?
I wish I was born taller. I just needed another
How
10
tall are you
cm.
though?
I'm 166, 168,
Okay, okay.
somewhere around there.
That's pretty okay though.
No, I have a in my mind. I'm like I want to be 175. It's just a number that's been stuck in my mind ever since I was like
One
really young.
seven five? Holy
Yeah,
shit.
I wanted
Okay.
to. I wish I was one taller. We'll just leave it at that. When I'm rich, I'll break both my legs and then get another 10 cm.
Ah shit. Cause I want to be shorter. I
I
think
want to be taller.
I'm opposite. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. 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 So yeah, with that, we gonna end up our podcast. Like, thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys had enjoyed. Yeah. So any last words? Before where can, well, probably anywhere we can find you on the social media if you like. Where can we find your podcast and all that? Because you kind
Or
of do those.
my podcast is Bamboo Fingers on Spotify. Just search Bamboo Fingers, you get it straight up away. And then you can search my username on YouTube, which is Amy Ang. Should come out. Should come out. And the top search video should be the O level results.
Right.
uh, you can see my comment on. I
Yeah.
don't know if you know him, but the Japanese YouTuber.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't.
But Ojisan, is his name Ojisan? QB Ojisan.
Okay, okay.
But if you see one of his video
Yeah.
which is about Singaporeans, comment on my video. My user is in that thumbnail, so hit me out on that.
Oh, cool. All right, all right. So with that, like, super grateful to have you here, Amy. Like, yeah, it's a pleasure talking to you, like it's
Yeah, I
pretty,
figure out
yeah,
your visualization problem, right?
yeah, yeah, it's pretty fun and all that. Yeah, like the things that we talk about, like, cause like usually I invite like people from other countries, and it's like nice to take a step back, talk to local people, like to talking about like local stuff and all that. So it's been quite fun, like, to be honest. Yeah. So yeah,
Right.
before anything, like, you want to say bye to the people who are listening? Yeah.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye
See you
bye.
guys.
Okay.